Hello and welcome to the Microsoft Enterprise Mobility and Security On Demand webinar. My name is Martin Smith and I look after EM+S and Microsoft Azure at Westcoast. And I've been doing this for the last 2 or 3 years now. So, just to get started, now it wouldn't be Microsoft without some acronym, one way or the other. So today, obviously, when it originally started, it was called the Enterprise Mobility, and then it became Enterprise Mobility Suite, and now EM+S, Enterprise Mobility and Security. So today, I think that we should cover on areas where it shouldn't be about what EMS is right from the start. That shouldn't be the question. So if you are thinking, well, where can I proposition this to one of your customers or anything like that, EM+S shouldn't be the place where it starts. So instead of why EM+S, it should be more a case of why MDM. But then I also am not a fan of acronyms. So mobile device management. That should be the question that starts off. What is the mobile device management plans that are in place at the moment for the company? So in case you didn't know, mobile device management first started with what was called BYOD, bring your own device. And there are pros and cons of bring your own device. I mean, when you look at all the things it can deliver against things that can't. So let's start with the things that should be looked at with caution. So when you look at things like security, someone else bringing their own device into the company, so there can be some security elements about where it is, what you're doing with it, hence coming on to management. So it's kind of a little bit less secure. What's that phone doing or device or laptop, etc.? What is it actually doing within the network? But then there are pros to bring your own device. When you look at things like how much more productive you could be. And of course there's the flexibility of it, taking it anywhere you like. If you have more than one device, you have a work device and a home device on a mobile phone as an example, or even a computer. There's lots of pros and cons. These are the main ones that I pointed out as being too bad, too good. Then when you move on to what's called MAM, now yes, another acronym, actually known as Mobile Application Management. Again, you kind of follow the same suit. An application on a phone or again on a laptop, anything like that, you're going to have problems with your security and your management. But again, makes you more productive and flexible. You get the idea of where this is going. Email management, again, believe it or not, that is also acronized. Data breaches, a lot of people or companies are anticipating things as we go along when it comes to IT. Data breaches being one of the biggest problems in most companies. And then you look at managing expectations. Today, in this day and age, when you take on some new staff, there's an expectation that they should have available to them devices, security, being able to work anywhere, do anything. That is the expectation of going into a company nowadays. And it's something to bear in mind. When you're asking questions to customers around mobile device management, this should be one of the main questions. What expectations has been set by the company? Let's look at the mobile workforce. When you look at the three main players in the market, you look at Windows phones, Android, and Apple, the three big players. Now, mostly when someone talks about something to do with EM+S or anything to do on the mobile mobility scale, they think, okay, well, mobile phones. Well, that's true, but it's not about the mobile being mobile. It's not about that. It's about the person being mobile and being able to do anything. And we should expand beyond, even though it's mobility in terms of mobile, it shouldn't be considered just phones. When you look at things like Macs, or even newer Macs, tablets and desktops, all of them are classified as a mobility device, even the desktop. When it comes to looking after your whole mobile workforce, it can be a bit tricky. Now, a lot of people in a lot of places, if you have one company that has 100 people in it, all with different devices, all different, all through the generations and generations, how are these managed under one area? You'd have to, well, Remember the times when you had to go around to each and every device and actually take the serial numbers down? Where is it going? What's it doing? Record everything. Again, things to think about. Now, when you have someone who comes into the company, utilizes the company mobiles. So if you hand out mobile phones to your workforce, what happens when that person leaves the company? What happens to that device? What happens to the laptop, the mobile, even the desktop, even all down to the USB sticks of what happens to that and where does it go? Again, something to think about. What happens if someone thinks they left their phone in your pocket? It happens. It happens a lot. And it's something that, how can you track that? How do you know it's gone? Well, when do you know it's gone, shall I say? And how exactly is it secure? And then we look at just carelessness, leaving it somewhere. I've done it, I'm sure you have as well. Just randomly leaving it somewhere. And how do you know where it is? Who has access to that phone? So, let's look at another area as well. Let's look at everything you have to do with the device. So, how many times have updates needs to be done? Well, not just your standard updates on your desktop. What about your software updates? Or even the security updates, the big one that takes quite a long time. The security updates alone are huge and frequent. So how do you keep track of those? And let's not forget also the idea of the actual operating system updates. When they get updated, doing them all each time it actually gets updated. It is amazing the amount of time spent on doing these upgrades. So, just some things to think about. Going on to the topics that we'll be covering. Now, we will start off with what is enterprise mobility and security. How do you license it? And more importantly, how do you sell it? This is not going to be an area where I'm just going to go do it like this, do it like that. You have your own way of selling. It's not about that. It's where to proposition it. Where is it right to actually apply enterprise mobility and security? So, to start off, what is EM+S? Now, we've already covered some bits on what the MDM side is. So what actually is inside EM+S? So it's made up of 3 core products. You have Microsoft Intune, Azure Active Directory Premium, and Azure Rights Management, or RMS. These 3 combined together form what is EM+S. So let's go into the first one, Intune. Now what's great about Intune is it can manage many, many different devices. You can manage your iOS, Android, Windows phones, Windows RT 10, 8. It can do almost any device. It's quite amazing. Now, what it actually does in the back is it provides mobile device management, application management, and PC management capabilities from the cloud. So people can actually provide employees with access to applications, data, resources from pretty much anywhere on any device. It's also keeping your corporate information secure. And at the moment, what's great about Windows Intune is the fact that it supports the management of Windows 10. You've got your enrollment, your policies, company resource access, application management, and what's great is the remote wiping access as well, which is fantastic. So that is Microsoft Intune, formerly known as Windows Intune. Let me go on to Active Directory Premium. Now, this does get a little bit technical, but not too much. So an Active Directory is the most common thing you can use in the IT world. When you look at Active Directory Premium on Azure, it has lots and lots of different applications built inside it that you can actually utilize for your own good. Things like Directory as a Service. That's the sort of thing that addresses those resources that normal Active Directory can't reach. It reaches out to things like Macs, tablets, Linux servers, and smartphones. User and group management, which is basically assigning certain people to certain groups with different access, that sort of thing. Device registration. There's one thing I will mention right now is, I've said it before, when you can pretty much link to any device anywhere, pretty much. The one exception is BlackBerry. Enterprise mobility and security does not do BlackBerry. It does everything else, but not BlackBerry. So any device, as we've said before. Directory objects. Directory object is basically a way of data storage and information on groups, users, and network resources, that sort of thing. End user access panel, a bit self-explanatory, but it's where you view and launch cloud-based applications. Now you have one of the biggest sellers in terms of Active Directory, which is single sign-on for software as a service applications. Now, it's amazing. It's like an authentication process that permits a user to enter one name and one password in order to access multiple applications. And it's a big, big win at the moment. Directory synchronization. Again, a bit self-explanatory, but allows you to securely automate the management of users and groups using company directory, whether that is hosted on-premise or in the cloud. You got user-based management and provisioning, and creating and managing access resource groups, that sort of thing. And you got group-based access management, again, inside a group. You got your basic and advanced security reports. Okay, so these are quite important. So you're able to pull off a report to see exactly any security requirements that are coming up, what's happened, where things are, passwords, etc., or things like that. Self-service password reset, that's also a good one. You will save your IT department a lot of time if you're able to self-serve your password resets. So again, another big, big seller for Active Directory Premium. And the last one, which is incredible at the moment, which is the multi-factor authentication. Now, we've seen this before on different applications where you have lots of different devices, lots of different devices, and to authenticate one person going in. So instead of just putting a password in, it will ask you then for a mobile number. It will ask you then for an email address, that sort of thing. It's brilliant, and it's a definite way to secure the networks. So this is the premium version. Now, there are 3 types of Active Directory. EM+S comes with Active Directory Premium, but there are 2 other ones, 2 other areas. There's the Active Directory Free and the Active Directory Basic. Now, anything in the Free and Basic is already included within the Premium side, but there's a few I haven't mentioned. So, with the free version, what you get is the directory objects, but up to 500,000 objects. You get your user group management, user-based provisioning, single sign-on, self-service password change, not reset, change. Again, you will still save a lot of time for your IT department. And you got Cloud Connect and usage reports. Granted, not as many as the premium version, but that's what you get with the free version. The free version comes with Azure as standard and comes with Office 365. Then you have the basic version of Active Directory. Again, I will quickly go through these, but you get group-based management, self-service password resets, company branding, which is brilliant, application proxy, so it's a new remote access role services in Windows, and you get an SLA of 99.9%. And that covers the premium version as well. So, going to move on to the third product, Azure Rights Management. Now, some people get confused by Azure Rights Management. Now, but I'll make it very simple. It is a policy-based solution to help protect information no matter who you share it with. That's rights management. You get capabilities like do not forward, company credentials, Office 365 message encryption, which allows you just to send encrypted emails to anyone. Have you ever had one of those situations where you have written an email and you're about to send it and you really wish you hadn't? And then you have a panic stage to try and get it back. Well, rights management can help with that, because you can help protect data across different workloads like SharePoint, Exchange, and OneDrive, and Office 365. So it helps protect emails on unauthorized access. You can enhance your security of your SharePoint, which is brilliant, and you can use the IRM to set up the appropriate permissions, information rights management. And because your files are protected, whether you're viewing them using Office Online or downloading to a local machine, that's exactly what can help. Rights management helps keep your information safe online or offline. Now, when we talk about, I spoke just before about Office 365 message encryption. So it's quite a big point at the moment when it comes to delivering confidential business communications with security and things like that. But basically, you can use this to allow users to send and receive encrypted emails as easily as regularly like emailing directly from their desktop. They won't see a difference. You can share files in email or say OneDrive, independent of whichever email you want to use, whichever one the recipient uses. And you can grow your organization's brand because of it. So, to move on to the next part, as I said, there were three main or core areas of EM+S. But there's also one in there as well, which is the fourth product, which is Advanced Threat Analytics. Now, this was something that was added a few years ago. And what it is, it's under the surface of EM+S is Microsoft's Advanced Threat Analytics technology, which allows you to monitor abnormal behavior, suspicious activity, internal and external. And you can set up alerts that can set up to detect and warn of potential issues and risks to your infrastructure. It learns as it grows. It analyzes previous problems and stops them before they happen, or warning systems. And it's actually fantastic to have in the background. So that is what EM+S is. Now, when you look at the licensing side, everyone's favorite subject, there are two ways in which you can license this. You can license under the CSP model, which is monthly billing, and it's done on a per user per month basis. At the moment, I believe that sits at about £4.80 per user per month. So it's not separate, it's not just in one license. On a monthly basis, nice and simple. Then you have open licensing. Now, open licensing is a per user per year billing. And I believe at the moment that is around about the £60 mark per user per year. So, two different options for you. It depends really on what the customer wants and what's easier for you as well. If you would like that drip revenue of CSP, the monthly billing option, then fine. Or would you like the big sum payout at the end of the year? Now, when it comes to selling enterprisability and security, you have ways in which you can word things and areas in which you can have a strategy towards it. So again, I'm not going to talk here about how to sell something. That's not right. But it is more of a case of looking at where you can position things. So let's take a look at different strategies you can have. Like where I used to previously, where it used to have all sorts of buzzwords that went around when it comes to selling EM+S. But when you look at different areas and different times and technologies, they used to have the buzzword back then, what's your hardware strategy? That used to be it. What is your hardware strategy? And it's like, okay, well, selling servers, things like that, fine. That used to be the main word. It's an open question. And then came along things like 365 and EM+S, things like that. And basically, what's your software strategy? And in today's areas of expertise, you're looking at things like, what is your cloud strategy? And with this, with EM+S, it is quite literally a case of saying, what is your mobile strategy? And when you look at other products that you can tie in with EM+S, you look at things that, like Windows, like Azure, because they use the same Active Directory. Azure has their Active Directory, Windows 10 has Active Directory, and also Office 365 has an Active Directory. And all of them are built in. So what you do is you synchronize them all under one Active Directory. It's nice and simple. It's an upsell, cross-sell opportunity. And I'm not saying add on EM+S to every product that you send out, because sometimes it isn't right for the actual user. If you have a customer that says to you, I wish to use, a directory synchronization tool, I wouldn't necessarily go in with the entire enterprise mobility and security area. I would go in with exactly what they need and then expand on that and expand further and further. But it is still a good tie-in to Office 365. So we have come to near the end of this on-demand webinar. I hope you've enjoyed what I spoke to you about today. And just remember that the enterprise mobility and security, when you look at the three products overall, they are fantastic for any mobile workforce and any workforce as well, as long as they're not BlackBerry. But it's fantastic for everything else. So Here's a list of useful contacts, and I hope you've enjoyed it today, and hopefully I will speak to you all very soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye.